Today we are going to read The Ant and the Grasshopper. This is an Aesop fable, and it's retold by Shirley Ann Costigan and illustrated by Pablo Bernasconi. Not sure how to pronounce his last name. His last name. Connect across texts. We're going to read more about how our actions today can affect the future. So as you're reading this story, think about your own actions and how they can affect the future for yourself or for others around you. The genre today is a fable, and a fable is a story that teaches a lesson or moral about life. Many fables have animals as characters. And if you look right here at our first pictures, you can see that we have some sort of insect, probably the grasshopper, and then an insect over here looks like the ant. So let's quickly just walk through, look at the pictures. The illustrations are kind of cool in this one. If you have the book, you can see the detail on the grasshopper. He's kind of got some texture on him. And then over here, look at his face. Then over here. I think that's the end of it. Yep. We're going to answer questions just like we do every week, but this first time through, we're going to read it. We'll make sure that we look down here where it says in other words so that we are making sure we know the vocabulary of the bolded text. Make sure we understand what the bolded text is telling us. You'll notice that some of the pictures have a little caption that tells you what it is they're playing. So you might think, oh, he's playing a violin. But if you look at the caption right here, it tells you this is actually a fiddle. So let's start reading. I'll be sure to stop and talk about the vocabulary. The Ant and the Grasshopper. One sunny day, a merry grasshopper was dancing to his fiddle. "Watch your step," came a voice at his feet. Oh, see, I'm already forgetting to tell you what the bolded words are. So merry down here is happy. So a happy grasshopper was dancing to his fiddle. "Watch your step," came a voice at his feet. "Be careful where you walk." It was an ant carrying an enormous kernel of corn. Now, if I didn't look at the other words and I wanted to figure out what the word enormous means, if I look at my ant and here's the kernel of corn looks about as big as the ant, right? So to the ant, an enormous kernel of corn means a big piece. And then you can see here they give you a picture of like a corn on the cob. Here's the corn, and then one little piece is one kernel. "Come dance with me," urged the grasshopper. Ooh, urged. Down here, urged is another word for said. And in our writing, we're working on using words instead of said, right? So you could think about shades of meaning or synonyms, right? I know in some of our classrooms, the word said is dead, and we don't use the word said. We think of another word. Well, the author in this story used the word urged. And instead of saying said, urged the grasshopper. No time, the ant answered without stopping. "I must gather food for winter." "Why aren't you gathering food?" "It's a bad idea to wait until it snows." "Nonsense," said the grasshopper. Down here I can see that nonsense means that's silly, said the grasshopper. Excuse me. "Winter is a long time away." "Suit yourself," said the ant. Down here I can look at suit yourself means do what you want, said the ant, and she staggered forward under her heavy load. So I bet without looking you could figure out what staggered forward means under her heavy load. If you were carrying a heavy load, how would you be walking? You'd walk with difficulty. That's what staggered forward means, to walk with difficulty. Soon winter came and snow covered the land. Not a kernel of food could be found. "Oh," lamented the grasshopper. So lamented, cried. He was like, "Oh," see, and you can see he has a tear. "I'm so hungry. I must surely die." "I am sure I will die." "Hey, grasshopper," cried a voice at his feet. It was the same ant. She was carrying another kernel of corn. "I warned you this day would come," said the ant. Yes, you did, admitted the grasshopper sadly. So admitted means said again. Look at all these different words for said. And if I live to see another year, I will heed your warning, or I will listen to you. You'll live, said the ant, and she dropped the kernel in the snow. The grasshopper gratefully picked it up and began to eat. And ever after, or from then on, Grasshopper remembered the tiny ant's lesson and was never hungry again. Now, here's the moral of the story, or the lesson of the story. When someone tells you to save for the future, listen. And that is the end of The Ant and the Grasshopper.